heli boarding. You have the opportunity to go out into the backcountry and heli-ski, heli board. Now the thing is with heli boarding is it's going to cost a lot of money because it costs a lot of gas, and you are going to have a guide with you. So when you go out to the backcountry, you're on your own. But when you're heli skiing, you're going out there with a guide. But if you haven't been in a helicopter before and you're gonna go out there and you're heli boarding, really enjoy the views because they're spectacular. You know, we've seen some really big animals like moose and bear as we're flying over the mountains. And take into consideration, hey, we're out there are going to be animals, so if I do encounter some type of animal, get away from it. It's wild. I know that moose and like cougars and bears, they're out there they're not hibernating, even though you think they would be. You see them out there. But you know, with heli skiing, you really want to make sure that you're proficient in backcountry riding and powder riding, and that you know the basis of safety out there. And also one more thing that really I noticed when I was out heli skiing is that sometimes snowmobiles get up to where you are and their tracks sometimes get buried by some powder, but a snowmobile track presses down the snow and it melts it and then it becomes ice. So be careful if you're out riding and you see some of those snowmobile tracks, that as I'm riding or skiing, as I'm riding and I come up to those, ride back and unweight your board, because that might be like hard as a rock. And I've seen people just ride, making nice, good turns, and all of a sudden they hit a snowmobile track and whack, they fall down. And especially as us being boarders, if we fall down in the backcountry and it's kind of flat, we're probably going to have to walk. So, you know, that's one really big key thing is keep your eyes open for animals and those snowmobile tracks. If you see them, try to avoid them because you don't know what kind of snow is underneath it. And especially, I usually see them when it is flatter, like where the helicopter is going to come pick us up. So, hey, I've got the pickup way down there. I need to keep my speed, but there's some snowmobile tracks. I'm going to try to avoid those tracks and keep enough speed so that I don't fall and have to unstrap or walk. And it can, even though you're out there having a great time, it can kind of ruin the time getting up and unstrapping and getting stuck in that powder. Now, they're going to go over everything with you. They should, but you know, when they send you out, there's going to be a guide. You might be out with two guides, the one that takes the front, depending on how big your group is, and one that takes the back, or you might just be out with one guide. The one guy, if you're out with just one guide, they're going to go first because they need to lead you. Now, some courtesies that you want to take into consideration is don't be a snow hog, meaning if there's a big wide open run, no one's touched it, I'm not going to take really big turns and just rip all of it up. I'm going to choose a nice line and make my turns right here, so the person next to me that goes after me, they can have some fresh lines too. And then you kind of just make your turns and then go over, make your turns, or come over here. But you don't want to really wreck it for everyone else and just be a big, huge snow hog and take all that, because you've gone out there, you're in a group. Now, if you're out backcountry and you've gone and hiked, you know, that's your reward. But you know, with heli skiing, heli boarding, you do want to be a little bit more courteous and think about that. You know, don't take everyone else's lines. It's going to cost a bit of money. You want to bring some extra food because you do get hungry out there, and they're not going to be, you know, there's no lodges or whatever. So usually you get up early, you eat the breakfast. Usually they're going to provide you a breakfast, and then you go and you start snowboarding. You usually don't get back till so you start usually around 7 or 8. You don't get back till around 2:33. So you think about in that time, I might get hungry. You know, who knows what might happen. They do provide you, or they should be providing you with the beacon, the peeps. And if you do want to bring something else like a probe and shovel, that's a really good idea as well. So keep your eyes open for those snowmobile tracks and be safe.
This is just one of the many tutorials that we have. Sign up for the full course at flowingfreeride.com.